Avery slid the last roasted carrot onto the platter when the deadbolt thunked, the door swinging wide before Marcus could move. Dana stood in the threshold, rain-damp coat trailing, a half-assembled greenhouse kit slung over her shoulder and a smirk already in place. She stepped past Avery, boots crunching on the rug, then reached for the thermostat as if it belonged to her. "I brought supplies," she announced, eyes drifting to the kitchen island where Avery's knife lay. Marcus started to protest. Dana cut him off, stretching a hand toward the recessed hallway, saying, "It looks like you two could use a hand tonight." Avery's grip on the platter tightened. Avery didn't look up as Dana stepped past, but she didn't let the moment slide either. She set the platter down, wiped her hands on a kitchen towel, and reached for the timer knob, letting the slow hiss of the oven fill the silence, until Marcus could find his voice. "Peas are on too," Avery said, keeping her tone measured, hallway lights still flickering. Small markers of order, every switch and seasoning measured, were her way of saying the house still belonged to them. Marcus murmured something about locking up the basement door and ducked into the dining room to pull the calendar closer. Avery slid a hand over the wood of the island, feeling the grooves of old scorch marks she'd sanded away last winter. Everyday life here was a series of tiny salvations. The ritual of wiping down counters, the habit of checking the water filter before bed, the way she made sure Marcus's work bag sat by the door so he wouldn't forget his badge. Peace was a narrow path she kept brushing clean, because once it cracked, Dana's ideas, greenhouse kit that would turn their backyard into a showcase, thermostat tweaks that ignored the asbestos warnings Avery had cataloged, spilled through like water. She drew the knife back toward the cutting board to chop herbs, fingers steady, mind ticking through tonight's meals, tomorrow's HOA meeting, the evening call with Marcus's sister. Each routine motion anchored her to a version of home that wouldn't bend just because Dana claimed the thermostat needed a reset. Avery dragged the damp cloth across the island under the lamplight, the motion sharp enough that the cloth squeaked on the tile. She paused, wiped again as if erasing a rhythm, then lifted her head to the wall calendar, eyes tracing the circled square for tonight before letting her fingers rest along its edge, where the note about keeping quiet was scrawled. Through Avery Wells's eyes, the wall calendar's Saturday block shows Dana check-in penciled and circled in red. Ink shadows of every other crossed-out plan, whispering how often the family bends for that visit. "Please, Marcus, tonight can we just have a quiet dinner without Dana breathing down our necks?" She already called. She wants to know the moment someone walks through your door so she can check that everyone is okay. Avery Wells's smile falters, her jaw clenching as the tension creeps down her shoulders. Through Marcus's eyes, the landline phone's screen glows with Dana's name stacked 3 times, each badge showing the same hour as if she keeps demanding answers to keep the family together. Dana wants immediate heads up every time someone steps in, plus full access to the cameras. She says it so she can make sure everyone's okay. So now we have to start mandatory daily check-in calls on top of that? Avery Wells's jaw clenches so hard, the tendons at her throat stand out, and her hands press into the island until her knuckles blanch. Avery Wells crosses to the home security display tablet, fingertips hovering above the glass as if any tap would spark the surveillance demand into life. She drags her thumb across the bezel, the screen flaring to life while her shoulders stiffen against another wave of intrusion. The wall calendar, lit by lamplight, glares with 3 consecutive weekends boxed and labeled family visit, each one a silent ledger of how many times Avery let the door stay open for them. Avery Wells summoned the home security display tablet, her hand hovering before pressing the glass with measured intent, the front walkway shivering under the ripple her fingertip traced, her shoulders stiffening as the image stuttered in lamplight. Can I keep letting her track our every move just so we all pretend we're okay? I don't know if opening another door for her keeps anyone together, but I can feel how much it's wearing you down. Avery Wells's hand lifts to the counter, knuckles whitening as her gaze stays locked on the blinking feed. Avery dragged her fingertip along the boundary sticky note, nudging the once-weekly plan toward Marcus as if laying down a lifeline, then let her hand fall to her side and stepped back an inch, leaving a thin space between herself and the table. If we tell Dana visits are capped at Sundays, she should have to let us breathe for once. She already thinks we're hiding something. She just texted asking why we'd even need a rule. Marcus Wells's jaw clenches, eyes flicking down to the screen before darting away. His shoulders tighten as though bracing against a blow. Boundary sticky note clings to today's square on the fridge calendar. Its tidy block letters pleading, "Ask me before forwarding." A quiet rule that Dana's clan chat breach just trampled. Avery snatches the boundary sticky note, slams it onto today's square, and drags her fingertip around the ringed comment stickers that now crowd the fridge calendar. She already copied our schedule for everyone and told neighbors to text when we leave. She framed it as protecting the clan, so they're all looking for proof you're hiding something. Avery's jaw clenched so tight the tendons stood out, fingers white around the sticky note. Her shoulders squared, head tilting slightly, as if bracing for a blow. She yanked Marcus's phone from the table beside the boundary sticky note, thumb launching through the clan chat where Dana tags neighbors, the motion precise and unyielding. Boundary sticky note clings to fridge calendar, its block letters, "No more surprise visits," lined up beneath next week's block. A quiet plea that might either calm or inflame. Now my attempts to keep peace look like secrecy. The whole clan thinks I'm the problem. She told them that, so they believe enforcing boundaries means hiding things, not protecting us. Avery Wells's jaw clenched, shoulders stiffening as the slanting light caught the edge of her profile. She pressed her palms flat to the tabletop, knuckles whitening. Avery stormed into the office, eyes locked on the counselor notes still splayed across the desk, yanking them toward herself so the highlighted concerns bent beneath her grip. So, what did Dana send this time? It wasn't her. She forwarded the therapist's notes to my parents, saying you're hiding something. Avery Wells's jaw clenched, knuckles whitening on the desk, as disbelief curdled into a cold, simmering anger. Her shoulders squared, eyes hardening as if bracing to defend the dwindling ground of her privacy. Marcus stepped toward Avery, the recorded counseling excerpt already murmuring through the speakers, and he thrust the phone out so the waveform and Dana's name hovered in the lamplight. He pinched the screen's edge, holding the evidence steady between them. Who gave them that recording? Dana recorded the entire session, edited out my clarifications, and sent it with the note that you were hiding abuse. Avery Wells's jaw snaps tight, eyes flaring with hurt light, fury sweeping across her face. Avery Wells's fingers tighten on the desk edge, knuckles whitening, as she steels herself to guard the last sliver of privacy. Tablet glow frames Dana's pinned message about the leaked counselor notes. Dozens of angry reactions clustered beneath like a storm forming directly over Avery. We tell the therapist everything, and we draw a line tonight, Marcus. I can't keep pretending her demand for surveillance is reasonable. I'm terrified my parents will see that as me turning on them. But I'm done letting them weaponize every private moment. Avery's jaw clenched, shoulders straightening as her gaze hardened. The quiet breath she released a promise that the compromise was over. Through Avery Wells's eyes, the smartphone glowing on the counter spells out her parents' ultimatum. Let Dana monitor everything. That's what loyalty looks like. Do they really expect me to keep handing over our privacy like that's some proof I'm loyal? Loyalty isn't a surveillance handoff. It's claiming this house back from Dana's control. Marcus Wells's fingers clenched around the counter edge, knuckles whitening as he swallowed hard, jaw locked tight before he leaned back against the cabinet. Dana Harper stomped over, slammed the binder of surveillance demands onto the island, pages fanning wide to the sections on daily check-ins and footage sharing. You're calling this loyalty, but watching our every move isn't trust, it's invasion. Proof keeps us safe, Avery. And if you won't hand over what we need, then the story's already written. Disloyal. So I ask for boundaries, and I get accused of betrayal? Boundaries look different when the only proof you offer is silence. Avery Wells's jaw clenched, shoulders stiffening as she lifted her chin, a hard line settling around her mouth. Smartphone screen, edges glowing orange. Freezes on parents' ultimatum text demanding compliance with Dana's surveillance rules. Marcus steps toward Avery, hand steadying on the chair back while his other hand presses down on the tablet, angling the surveillance feed so it catches her eyes. We have to stop letting Dana narrate our story, Avery. If I push back, the parents will hear disloyal. And then what? We lose them too. Avery's jaw clenched, knuckles whitening on the chair as her gaze darted toward the door. Through Avery's eyes, the smartphone's screen glows with the parent's ultimatum text stating, "Stay loyal or lose us forever." A concrete reminder that keeping peace is the only guarantee of family presence. Avery lifts the laptop, tilting it until the camera settles level with Dana, then drops it back down, palms pressing flat to the trackpad to keep the image steady. She lets out a measured breath, shoulders squaring as she leans forward, planting both elbows on the coffee table to brace for Dana's reaction. Dana, this non-stop watching is suffocating. Can we actually talk about where the line is? Limits. You're the one who's been hiding things, breaking trust, trying to split everyone apart. Marcus Wells's jaw tightens, shoulders rising as if bracing for a blow, eyes flicking toward the webcam and then away. His fingers drumming the couch arm betray the tension coiled just beneath the surface. Marcus Wells sees the printed boundary statement on the coffee table, the top line underlined twice. Privacy respected, cameras off. A stark reminder of the demand he's weighing. They're saying we'll be cut off just for insisting on privacy. If that's the price of a peaceful home, then let them go. We owe loyalty to our kids, not a surveillance demand. Avery's shoulders dropped, breath caught in a tightening of her chest. Yet her gaze held steady as her fingers curled against her palms, resolve hardening with each shallow rise and fall. The gate clicks shut behind Lena, the latch now padlocked with a small brass key threaded through her own ribbon. Inside, the kitchen light is soft gold. Marcus is humming under his breath while laying out bowls of soup, the children's laughter a quiet counterpoint. On the counter, Dana's folder sits face down beneath a vase of herbs Lena trimmed herself, a ribbon of lavender looped over the spine. Lena pads barefoot to the railing, leaning into the warmth of the porch light. She lifts her phone. No notifications, just the timestamp of her own recorded voice. "We live here," she'd said weeks ago. Still the only alert glowing white. Marcus steps out, squeezes her shoulder, and the knot in her chest loosens into something like breath. Behind her, the hallway door remains closed. The space inside allowed its own silence. The night is quiet, except for the rustle of leaves, and there is no longer anyone at the threshold demanding entrance.